Hello and welcome back, folks. Today we're having a look at the Walthers mainline SD70AH that I purchased earlier this year with the goal of adding some detail. And for the most part, this is complete. This model was purchased from Lombard Hobbies and was the sound-equipped option, but I ended up getting rid of and selling off the less featured ESU decoder that it came with and put in a full-featured Lokesound 5 on a decoder buddy, as I wanted some more lighting features. This was originally numbered 8991, but I renumbered it to 9000 using Microscale decals and some Microsol microset. To guide me through the project, I picked up this issue of Railroad Model Craftsman, which has an article by Harry Wong on detailing and painting an undecorated Walthers SD70ACe to more accurately portray the prototype. I did not follow every single part of the article, but used it more as a general reference. I wasn't going to cut into the shell to fix some of the errors the model has, so it's not super accurate, but I'm more or less pleased with it. On the model, I've added the pilot details, including custom-shaped uncoupling levers, MU hoses, grab irons on the plow, and all the grab irons on the shell. Those are from the Walthers detailing kit for the SD70. The windshield wipers are separate pieces connected by a brass wire. The PTC antenna is an Athearn part. The stock sunshades were replaced with parts from Decals West, if I remember correctly. A lot of the extra detail parts are Decals West and Decals Associates. The decals along the hood are from Microscale and Circus City decals, a mix of both. The model comes bare, so you have to add those extra warning label decals yourself. On the fuel tank, I've added some additional pipework as well as separately applied fuel gauges. Along the sill here is reflective striping by Smokebox Graphics. I wasn't very happy with my own measuring and cutting with the reflective tape, so I went ahead and just ordered stuff that was already pre-cut, and I'm very happy with the way it has turned out. And there's more pipework on the back of the tank. The rear pilot also has some additional pieces, the uncoupling lever, the spare knuckle holders, and some grab irons. On the top, I added the conduits going into the fan housings on the radiator. Along the driver's side is the air filter under the sill here. And I've added this hatch cover and lift rings to the top of the hood. That's most all of the detail additions. I still have to add the track camera in the cab, and the cab needs some crew, but the cab piece pops off relatively easily, and it's no big deal. I'll add that in the future. I also need to add the sanding pipes from a Decals West kit. That's going to come in the future, I think. For lighting, it has the usual front and rear headlights, ditch lights, and I've added a cab light and the running light under the driver's side. Originally, I did have step lights wired up under all four corners of the model, but they shorted out at some point, and I just decided against trying to add them again. It was a neat effect, but I had to consider how much it was worth my time, and it just wasn't really worth it to me, as neat of a feature as it is. I do love this model, and even if it isn't the most accurate or detailed model, it runs beautifully. I spent part of the day speed matching my Scale Trains Gevo and this Walthers model, and after some tuning of the two, I put together a small mix train and did some running on the floor. I had to learn advanced consisting, but it was very simple, and yeah, enjoy the running. Before wrapping up, let's take a quick look at some of the other projects on the bench. This, of course, is the Kato P42 that I've renumbered, originally number 17 and is now 62. This is the locomotive that I had ridden on my first Amtrak trip. The insides have been modified and milled out, and there's now a Decoder Buddy V5 installed. Inside, we have modified the frame to fit a Decoder Buddy motherboard and the ESU Oak Sound 5. Additional lighting features include a cab light, the number board light, and the front and rear red markers. One of the ditch lights is a little loose, so I need to see about getting that reattached. Otherwise, most of this is complete. Details-wise, there's a lot to do on this one. But one of the major pieces, this antenna mount box on the top of the cab, is complete. This is a component common to P42s I see on the Texas Eagle. Mostly the P42s in the 60s, 50s range all seem to have this box right here on top of the cab, although it is not featured on every P42. No model comes with this part, so I had to fabricate it out of styrene, and it's got close enough with the color. I think it looks pretty close. This one has a ways to go before calling it done, but that's fine. More to come in a future video. Lastly is the more recently acquired Athearn Blue Box AC4400. This one has had its road number applied to the sides of the cab and the rear, 6867. It's gotten its first traction motor cables. I need to finish those and add them going up the side there. I've also filled in the holes that were used by the original wire handrails as new plastic Athearn replacement handrails for AC4400s mounted to the top of the inverter boxes on the side. Holes for the grab irons on the nose and the rear and the sides have been drilled. Inside, we have an unmounted HM5 motor from Kato. This will eventually get screws to hold it in place, and drive shafts are going to be from A-Line. It's going to have that hex drive shaft style. And that's more or less it. I'll be honest, I've just been having fun running the trains on the floor, and going back and forth between having the sound on and having them off. Sometimes it's just nice to hear the clickety-clack of the metal wheels on the rails, and yeah, it's just been really nice. Hopefully I'll have more to showcase later on. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll have more for you very shortly in the future. Thank you so much for watching.